Okay. Shucks. Okay, for those of you who have just joined us after closed session, welcome to this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. I'm Laura Simon, Board President, and I'd like to introduce my fellow trustees, Lisa Pelosi, Sean Mora, Jean Marie Wolf, and our student representative to the board, Miss Sunny Calder. I would also like to introduce our district staff, Superintendent Dr. Jody McClay, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Christopher Heller, Chief Business Official Dr. Kay Vang, Executive Assistant to the Assistant Superintendent Ms. Melissa Hansen, Director of Technology Mr. Derek Machado, and Instructional Technology Systems Administrator Bryce Humphrey. Additional administrators are joining us in the audience: Director of Educational Services, Mrs. Araceli Romo Flores, St. Helena High School Principal, Mr. Benjamin Cinto, RLS Middle School Principal, Mr. Andrew Ryan, St. Helena Elementary School Principal, Dr. Carmen Emery, and St. Helena Primary School Principal, Mrs. Rebecca Rocha. We're delighted that you are viewing in person, on television, Channel 27, or on our YouTube channel. A copy of this board meeting video will also be available on our website at www.sthelenaunified.org. It was incorrectly stated at the beginning of the meeting that we were approving the amended agenda, and we are not. We are approving the regular agenda. No amendments made. In connection with items 4A and 4B, the board received information and provided staff with direction. Let's rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 6A, public comment. And is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on items not on the meeting agenda?
Good evening. My name is Evan, and my wife and I have two young sons in the St. Helena Primary School. I'm here to talk about the classes called B-STEAM, and I'm just going to call it STEAM, or STEM, which stands for, of course, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. All very important things, I think we agree. Currently, the STEM class is offered as a standalone class at both the St. Helena Primary School and the elementary school. And I understand that there's a proposal to eliminate the STEM classes from both the primary and elementary school, and that Ms. Chandron's STEM classes. And this would be a huge mistake and a massive disappointment for the students and the parents. And I just want to outline a few reasons why I think that proposal should be rejected. First is that the STEM class it's a favorite of my two sons. It's one of the classes that they first tell us about at night. And if you ask their friends, it's also a very popular class with all of them as well. So in my mind, it makes absolutely no sense to eliminate a class that is so popular with the students and where there's a joy of learning. Second, I think it's incredibly important to be intentional about teaching STEM, which is why we have a separate class for STEM outside of the normal classroom. Technology development is where the world is going and where the world has always gone. And we all should appreciate the importance of STEM in our schools. And we have a choice here. We can keep STEM in the schools, or we could eliminate it and, be task rabbits for the next generation of Chinese AI. And I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I think I'm not too far off overall. Third point is that keep top in mind, of course, that the St. Helena School District is in competition with other schools, private schools, other public schools, and other districts. And if the school district eliminates these classes like the STEM class or scales back advanced math in the middle school or anything like that, parents will start to avail themselves to other options. And we want to, have the enrollment here in the public schools in St. Helena. So I want to close by asking the district to keep these STEM classes. I think we need to prioritize STEM and not eliminate it. And then I also want to address the idea that STEM could be eliminated and then just blended in the normal classroom. For me, that's a non-starter. I think, as I said, I think we need to be intentional about teaching STEM, and that's exactly why it's a separate class offered at the primary school and elementary school. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Carver Anderson. I have two sons in the school district as well, 2nd grade and 6th grade. I just want to echo what Evan said. I want to support his argument. It seems like it wasn't that long ago we were here talking about the removal of advanced math in the middle school. A bunch of parents got together and we talked about it. It sounds like we got that back. I don't know what the plan is for STEM, but I just want to make sure that it is prioritized. As Evan said, I believe it's very important. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any other open comments? Ms. Hanson, anything on Zoom or? Oh, no, there. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We always appreciate open comments you bring to us. Okay, we're going to move on to 7A, and that is recognition of student representative of the board, Sunny Calder. And it says that it calls on me, and I'm very excited. We have had the pleasure of Sunny Calder being our student board representative for the past year, and what a year she's had. And I wanted to say, just want to say that you are such an intelligent young woman, and I have really valued all the comments that you've made, the presentations that you've made. And one thing that you've done, and this is why I know you're going to make great change and do great things, is at the beginning of the year, you didn't just kind of continue with where the other representative was, and Carolyn Wagner was an excellent representative as well, but you took the time to talk to her, think about next steps, and then wanting to elevate the position, to take it in a little bit different direction with the student surveys, which listening to voice of the different campuses. And so I think that you've elevated the position this year, and because of that, you should just be very proud of yourself. So we've really enjoyed our time with you. Thank you so much, and we wish the best for you next year. We know you're going to do great things.
Absolutely. Thank you. Can I add a couple of comments as well?
Please.
Because having sat on this board for a while, and there's been a few students that have come in, and you definitely are one of those students who has advocated for the student voice, and whether you've never hesitated to give us feedback that was honest. Maybe it wasn't in alignment with something, but you were always respectful. But what I really applauded was you believed in what you said, and you brought it forth to us. So that is a skill that will take you far. You're a multifaceted student, as we well know, and we wish you every happiness. And we know that this is a hard position to take on with a full school load like you have. So I just want to commend you for stepping up to the leadership position that you have, because we truly do value people being in that position. So thank you, and I hope we'll see you in your cap and gown next, and enjoy the last few weeks of school here. So thank you, Sunny.
I just want to say that's like, I didn't know you before this, being on the board, and then it was like everywhere I went, you were there. So I had very good comfort that you really did have a good grasp of a student voice, just because it seemed like every activity you were there involved in some way. So I really appreciate it, and good luck.
I get to go last. Always a pleasure having you next to me. So, yeah, you're so well-rounded. I mean, you're so talented theatrically, and you're a leader and all those great things. And high school years are great, and college is just going to be phenomenal too, and you'll do well. So we will miss you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have a little something for you.
not easy to, like,
I know, sorry.
I gave you.
I'm uncoordinated.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we have two more presentations this evening. Next is recognition of the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year. And I would like to call on Mr. Nick Haley.
Eileen and Cindy are so excited to come talk to you guys today. Nick Haley, Director of Operations for the clubs. I came out here 8 years ago, was recruited from my other Boys and Girls Clubs in Sonoma. Could not be happier with the partnership that the schools have with our principals. The Boys and Girls Club here has a special relationship with everybody in the school district, and I really appreciate that. So, admittedly, we are really bad about talking about what we do. And part of that is on purpose. We work from an altruistic standpoint. We don't do LinkedIn and Facebook posts, but also it bites us a little bit because we're long overdue to introduce these two. So one of the things we do well is recognize our kids. The Youth of the Year program, we recognize 2 students from St. Helena, 2 from Calistoga from our teen centers, and each one receives a $2,000 scholarship. The winner receives a $7,000 scholarship, and then they are brought to school board meetings and introduced to public people and our donors, etc. So real quick before I bring them up, because I don't know if they're going to say some of the things that they've taken part in. So both of these young people were nominated. One, we added a college and career counselor this year to our staff. They've met with them often. Eileen just got accepted to San Jose State University. She's been working on scholarships. I got a text the other night that she just accepted a new scholarship. Both attend our biannual mental health retreats that we lead up in Oregon. That's a 7-day mental health retreat with therapists and counselors. We do 6 to 10 college tours every summer. They go on all of those. They're just exceptional young people. And the one portion that I will brag about the Boys and Girls Club, all of that is free. So we believe in accessibility for all of our kids. So these college tours, those mental health retreats, all of it is at no cost to these young people. All right. You first.
Hi, my name is Eileen Topete, and I'm a senior here at St. Helena High School, and I was Youth of the Year. So the Teen Center has given me so many opportunities. They've given me scholarships, they helped me with college applications, and they even gave me a job. And I love doing it, it's fun. I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, you know, I spent a lot of time there, and even now I find the time to go to the Teen Center, and it's been like a second home, not to me, but everyone there. And I've seen firsthand the help that they give younger kids, and I think it's amazing. I love what they do there. And like Nick said, the Teen Center does a biannual mental health retreat that I've attended multiple times, and it's really helped me work on myself. And I was awarded Youth of the Year because of the growth I've showed, especially at the mental health retreats, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cindy Morales, and I just wanted to take a moment to share something that's important to me. Over the past little while, I've gone through some tough times, and I kind of lost myself. But through it all, the Boys and Girls Club has always been there for me, checking in on me, reminding me how much I missed, and offering their support. They offer to stay late, to help me with homework. They offer to help me with college applications, and honestly, that means so much to me. It reminds me that I matter, and there are people who care about me. When I finally came back to the Boys and Girls Club, the kids and the staff were so excited to see me. There was many hugs, and it really hit me how this place feels like a second home to me. The love and support I get here from both the staff and the kids is something I'll never take for granted. It's not just a place, it's a community that's been there for me in many ways. The Boys and Girls Club is where I learned that being there for me. The Boys and Girls Club is where I learned and found my sense of belonging. It's where I have made long life memories, whether it's from the retreats, the Youth of the Year, of all the trips I've taken. It's a place that gives me and so many other teens opportunities I'll always be grateful for. I'm just really thankful for this place and the people in it. I was chosen to be Youth of the Year because of my leadership skills and how I've grown to become outspoken at the Teen Center, along with standing up for others whenever they need it. Thank you.
Cindy and Aylin, come on up really quickly. We just wanted to give you a handshake. And Cindy and Aylin, we also just want to say thank you so much for sharing, your being vulnerable and sharing how personally the Boys and Girls Club has affected you. And thank you, Boys and Girls Club, so much for all that you do. All right, I need some sort of drum. Last but not least, we have a performance by the Robert Louis Stevenson 7th and 8th grade band, and I might be a little partial because my daughter is in the band, but we are ready for them, Miss Fulmer. Oh, there you are.
Hey, folks, take a minute. All right, nurse game. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the RLS Middle School 7th and 8th grade band. Okay. Yes, this is my show pony of a band. It's the biggest band I have in the district right now. 7th graders, raise your hand. you're a 7th grader, 8th grader, if you're raising your hand, everyone take notice. Hopefully I see all these kids in the high school band next year, or I'll find you. Okay, no, just kidding. They've been very, very busy. They started off the year doing 2 parades. We do the Harvest Festival Pet Parade. I know some of you were witness to the Yellow Submarine rehearsals that happened on the field at RLS. Sorry, not sorry. Just to turn around a week later to do the homecoming parade with the high schoolers on an epic trailer. How I still am amazed that that got pulled down the street. Followed by a fall concert, a winter concert. They just competed in their first CMEA regional competition at Napa Valley High School. They saw some of the other middle school schools out there ranked an excellent, which is fabulous for them. And then they just competed last weekend at Golden West Middle School out in Fairfield. They had 5 in their division. They took 2nd. It was a very, very hard competition, but they got an excellent rating. And their last performance of the year is in 2 weeks on Thursday, the 22nd at 6 p.m. in the PAC with the 6th grade band and then the high school jazz and concert bands. That will be their culmination of a year of hard work. I am truly proud of these kids. They do whatever I say and they don't question it. It's lovely. I can't wait for that to change when they get to the high school band. They work hard, they're focused, they're committed, and they make coming to RLS a blast. I truly look forward to them, and even though some of you test my patience every day, I'm a better person for it. Yes, I'm looking at you, Tommy. But I truly appreciate all your contributions that you bring to the band. You are seriously the heart of the band program. So anyways, they're going to perform a piece for you called Jungle Dance.
We're going to take a comfort break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Okay, we are going to begin. And we are at consent agenda. So the consent agenda contains routine items judged as appropriate to be acted upon in one motion. If a board member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda, the item will be considered under discussion action items. Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No?
Okay. Okay.
Is there just ask for a motion to
Yes.
consent agenda?
Yeah, because it's a little different. Okay. I would like to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Ms. Hanson will conduct a roll call.
Actually,
I
don't
will-
need to do that.
no.
You can just do the, all those in favor.
Oh, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No? Okay. We will move right along. So it's a little different. 9A, we are at board member reports. Trustee Pelosi.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, so tonight I opted. My school is the high school, and I'm new back in the rotation after a 3-year break. So bear with me if I sound a little bit rusty. But I had the pleasure of going to the high school last week. Dr. McClay joined me, and I wanted to highlight what the high school offers and promotes in regards to creating awareness for our students for past post high school. That's what I was kind of focused on. You will see attached to the agenda tonight a list of items that RLS also provided, that they provide for students. I asked Mr. Ryan, and thank you very much, Mr. Ryan, to provide this list to show how offerings and efforts are in place to create an awareness of pathways after high school, and to also show how RLS is promoting many of the aspects of college and career paths in an effort to start planting the seeds, ideas, and the academic vocabulary to know what is possible and what comes next in the high school years. I'm not going to focus on that. I just take your time and read that when you can, but there's a lot of offerings at RLS, and I wanted to highlight that in conjunction with the high school as well. So, as I said, last week I had the opportunity to visit with Dr. McClay. We were welcomed by Mr. Cinto, and we started our visit with discussion about the high school counseling services, and we were fortunate enough to be joined by Terry Linder and Sean Garrity as well. A special thank you to all three of you for taking the time to meet and review what the counseling department offers. Also attached to the agenda, you will find information on the offerings from St. Helena High School. I won't review this point by point because you will see there is a plethora of options and information there. So again, take the time to review that as well. But I did want to highlight just a few things. The counselor caseloads are still divided, I'm sure because we have sitting parents as well, but they're still divided by alphabetically students, A through L with one counselor, M through Z through the other. Bilingual translation is provided for students and parents as needed. Mr. Cinto also mentioned that they have translated the 40-page course catalog as well. So that is something newer, and that is to be commended as well, because that's no small task. You may be aware, you may not, that they have a grade level advisory class. And I know Mr. Cinto highlighted that yesterday at the staff appreciation, but this is working out well, and it's an opportunity for the counselors to meet with the entire grade level at one time versus pushing into classrooms and taking away from class instructional time. The counselor stated that they meet with every student at various times and, of course, are open and willing should students and parents have additional needs. We then observed several classrooms, and it was impressive to see the levels of support that the students needed. It is to be noted that there are individualized schedules that work for students to ensure the greatest success as students. The new student study skills, I hope I did not butcher that title, but that was an example of a mixed grade level class for a variety of GPAs, a variety of reasons why students might take that class. Some of them just want the opportunity to have some time to focus and get some work done. And that was, so again, that's being tailored to individual needs. It was also my impression that the counselors provide a lot of opportunities to be available for students and their parents. Communication is provided to students more directly in an effort to have them be drivers of the process, but I would also say, as a former high school parent, that parents are encouraged to remain engaged and to also check out the website, stay in contact with St. Helena High School and the counselors, so that as parents you can be partners on this road to post-high school options. And while it may sound cliche, we want our students to aim for the stars and know that so much is possible. Sometimes plans have to be adjusted, but I think St. Helena Unified has so much to offer to point our students in some very many wonderful directions. So again, I think all the documents will definitely get into the specifics. If you have further questions, I would say start with Dr. McClay, and she can then point you for elsewhere if need be. So thank you.
I just want to comment, it's always fun at the primary schools back to school night when Principal Rocha starts talking about future and your children going to college or a program, and all the parents of like TK kids are like, oh, but it's really kind of funny. So it starts day one, helping kids forge ahead in their future. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you again, Mr. Cinto, for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to 9B, Superintendent's Report. Dr. McClay.
Okay, so wow, if we didn't have a couple of really powerful reminders of what I call our whys earlier, right? With the Boys and Girls Club 2 students being honored as Youth of the Year, and then the RLS band, I just think that sets such an incredible tone for what I have the privilege of seeing every day on our campuses. So I'm thrilled that you all got to witness that as well. In honor of Staff Appreciation Week, I did want to publicly acknowledge our stellar employees in St. Helena Unified. As I shared yesterday at the Staff Appreciation Lunch, I continue to be impressed not only by their precision skills, but also what I call the people skills, right? So not only are our entire staff really, really trained in their craft, but they also demonstrate such a genuine care and love for students. You see it the minute you walk on any one of our campuses from every single employee. And so kudos to the entire staff for that. You know, the adage, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Well, that is obviously true for students as well. And so it's a really special place on all 4 of our campuses where kids really know that they are cared for while there is a push for their learning. I've also had the pleasure the last couple of weeks of visiting all 4 of our schools during a special lunch. We're calling them our staff feedback lunches, where district office staff has gone with me and graciously covered all of the staff. So we've had district office folks out there on the playground supervising students, in the front office, in the health office, so that the entire staff had the opportunity to come in and just have an informal opportunity to talk with me about what's going well in the district, what do they want to be sure we continue doing, as well as what could we improve in. So I want to thank staff as well. We've had nearly 100% participation at all of the sites, with people coming in and being incredibly positive, incredibly thoughtful, very honest with their feedback. My promise to you, for those who attended, is that they will see the ramifications of that, the positive changes in areas that we need to improve that they identified, as well as more emphasis in the things that we're doing well, so that we can ensure that we continue to do those things well. I always think that that's really important too. If you just focus on what needs improvement, within a year or two it'll be like a teeter-totter, and what you used to be doing well in is just going to go down again. So it's equally important to acknowledge the things that are going well and to focus on those. Other things that have been going on recently, let's see, I made a list. There have been so many activities. I had the opportunity with Trustee Kerr to tour the St. Helena Preschool Co-op program. For anyone with preschoolers out there, if you have not observed that program, it is pretty amazing. Not just what the children are doing, but also the parent education component. I don't think I've ever seen one as strong, really, really impressive. The Student Belonging and Equity Committee has really gained a lot of traction in the last couple months, and they have met several extra times to finalize 3 new things we're going to be doing to expand expand that work throughout the district. And those are equity walks on our campuses, student empathy interviews, and student and staff focus groups. So those will all be coming in the near future. The English Learner Reclassification event, I know our trustees were able to attend that. Phenomenal event to really celebrate the hard work of our students being reclassified as fluent in English. And then likewise, people throughout the community are continuing to talk about the fashion show and the Fajita Fest. None of these events would be possible without our staff, our parents, and our community members coming together to really make our district extra special. And then finally, I will close as we wrap up the school year. I didn't get a chance to talk with Dr. Emery today about this, but I think we're on about letter H-ish on campus. What was today, G? G for green. Okay, so the elementary school does a 26-day countdown. So they started a week or so ago. Today was letter G, and we'll go all the way to the last day of school with letter Z. It's quite contagious. Everyone's asking around the district, what letter are we today? What letter are we today? But lots of exciting events. Your calendars are filled. And so I know that we all look forward, and I hope everyone out there watching is looking forward to all of the celebrations we have between now and June 6th. So thank you.
Okay. Yes, it is an exciting time of year. Any questions? No? Okay. We're going to move on to item 9C. This is the Superintendent Subcommittee reports. And since our last board meeting, we have only had the Student Equity and Belonging Committee, which took place on April 24th. And we have Trustee Pelosi.
Yes, and I'm not Dr. McClay, really. No, it's okay. Highlighted what we hit. We do have traction in that committee. It is pretty amazing to see what has happened in the last 2 weeks. You really kind of highlighted. It's fine. So we were hopeful that maybe we would get some of these three-pronged approaches underway before the end of the school year, but the end of the school year is approaching fast, and it's a little bit hard to all of a sudden want to do these equity walks or try to do these empathy interviews when everybody's plate is beyond full. So what the good news is that it seems like we're pretty solid on hitting the ground come August, September. The questions for the interviews have been devised. The focus groups, they're going to start with Clara and Claro groups to start with and offer lunch, because we know that lunch always is a big incentive to come talk to adults. And then we're going to just kind of assemble that data and start to kind of move forward to see what's the next step, where we need to go from there. But I don't really have much more to add than that right now. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Next is item 9D, St. Helena Teachers Association report to the board. I call on Mr. Lulsdorf, please.
All right. Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Good evening. I first want to give a little shout out. Thank you to the district for celebrating, I think, what is the best staff around yesterday, and people enjoyed their ice cream and the food, and it was just great to see everybody getting honored, and we appreciate that, so thank you. It is negotiation season, and I wanted to reflect a little bit on past agreements and current negotiations a little bit without getting too much into the weeds here. I've been part of multiple contract agreements over the years, and we've consistently hit what I call the trifecta: protecting student interests, meeting stated financial goals by the district, and still building teacher morale. Every proposal that we've ever brought forward by SHTA is built on the knowledge that the district's reps are hardworking and intelligent. Unfortunately, based on the most recent proposal, our teachers are starting to question whether the district feels the same way about them. And I don't want to bring that up. I'm half Dutch. We're pretty blunt. But that's the feedback I'm getting. And I can't understate how much morale matters, all right? And repairing that can take years. In closing, I urge the district, don't mess with a key component that makes our district the best for students. Don't mess with its success. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, let's see here. Next, we have 9E, and that is St. Helena. I'm sorry. Oh, it doesn't look like we have yeah. Hold on one moment.
I think it's because of the sunshine proposal.
Okay, that's right. We will visit with CSCA and Mr. Perry during Human Resources. Okay. Okay. So items 9E through H are our principal reports. As always, we want to thank our principals for sharing important information from each campus on student achievement and parent participation. Thank you so much. We will now move on to items 10A, consideration of approval for the 2025-26 Declaration of Need. And I call on Mr. Heller.
That is I. Okay, good evening. The Declaration of Need is, we're required to file this annually with the Napa County Office of Education. Should we have the need to employ teachers that do not possess credentials. So they would be in a STIP or a PIP program is what they're called. We don't foresee this occurring with our current staffing, and so the Declaration of Need just provides us with the flexibility with the California Teaching Commission should an unexpected need arise. So this is something we do annually. The numbers are just in the categories where there's typically hard to find teachers, usually math, science, special education. So that's where we increase the numbers more than the others. So I'd be happy to entertain any other questions.
Okay. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No?
Okay, is there a motion to approve the 2025-26 Declaration of Need as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Okay, motion carried. Okay, we're moving on to item 10B, initial sunshine proposal from CSEA to St. Helena Unified for collective bargaining negotiations. And I call on Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Madam President, School Board Trustees, Dr. McClay, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Heller, and Dr. Vang. Tonight with you, I have several of my classified employees with me, and I have to tell you, if there's one week that you could work at a school district, it has to be this week. It started on Monday with coffee and snacks at the primary school, furnished by our principal. And every day we've had something. Burrito, we had lunch with Dr. McClay on Wednesday. And so it's just been a great time to be a part of it. And I enjoy that part of it. I would like to ask all my fellow members of our chapter if they would please rise for just recognition. Would everyone that's a classified member please rise? Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your support. You can be seated now. This is negotiation time, as you heard from the thing, and I will not bore you tonight. It's in your package tonight. I will have to say, classified workers, all of us, I don't need to tell you a little something about me that you may not know, as I like to cook. No, I'm not Julia Childs. I'm more of a Paula Deen cook, but I do like to cook, and every cook always has some special ingredient, right, or a secret sauce. And I've thought about that, and I thought our classified workers are kind of that secret sauce, or that little extra ingredient that we have, maybe called love, that in our school, and what makes it great. And we do have a great connection with both our teachers and our administrators. As we sunshine our contract this year, we asked for several things. Not to be blunt, but we do live in a difficult time, in a different world, where things seem to be so divided among us. It's not wages that will keep us from making a contract. It won't be benefits that will keep us from making a contract. What keeps us from getting a contract is 3 feet. That's the 3 feet that you set between the person on the other side of the table with you. We hope that we will negotiate with trust, respect, and courtesy with one another. And we hope that we come out with a contract that the district can say, well, we won, and that classified employees can say that they won as well. If we've done that, it'll touch our hearts as well as our mind. And that's what we hope that we can accomplish for the next 3 years. I thank you for your time and effort. If you have any questions on behalf of CSEA, please let me know.
Thank you so much. Board members, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Then we're going to move into board-related items. 11A, review an updated enrollment projection study provided by King Consulting. And I would like to call on Dr. Vang.
Thank you, President Simon. So today I am bringing forth the enrollment projection study that was recently done in March 2025. And the difference between this enrollment projection study and the last one that was completed about 2 years ago, I think one of the big differences is that this current projection study does not include the Hunter subdivision, which was also included in the projection 2 years ago. Additionally, best practice is to update our enrollment projection studies when we update our facility master plan. And as you all know, we are currently working on our facility master plan, updating that for your review and approval eventually. Also, with Prop 2, the Office of Public School Construction, OPSC, requires school districts to update their school facilities master plans to reflect any changes in enrollment capacity or other areas as appropriate for purposes of participating in the school facility program. We are participating in the SFP program as we have several applications in line for funding. And with the passage of Prop 2, this is a requirement. So we have now met these requirements by updating our enrollment projections, working on updating our facilities master plans. So this is your information moving forward. Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Okay. Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
I just had one. When would we do the next one? In another 2 years? Or?
This will be good. This projection is a 7-year projection.
Okay.
So unless there are some drastic, significant changes, we are good to keep this until something needs to be updated.
Okay. Thank you.
And those changes are regarding facilities or, okay.
Enrollment.
Or
if
housing,
we have,
right?
Yes,
Or
or
if
housing.
housing
For
changes.
example, our last one included this Hunter subdivision.
Okay.
We've taken that out. We have drastic enrollment changes, declining enrollment. It's always good, best practice to just keep your studies updated.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, and I apologize, I need to go back to 10B because we did not make a motion.
Oh.
That was my fault.
Okay.
Okay, so we are back at 10B, initial sunshine proposal from CSEA to St. Helena Unified for collective bargaining negotiations. Is there a motion to approve the sunshine proposal from SHTA to St. Helena Unified for collective bargaining as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay. And I also learned that we will now not have a roll call vote because we no longer have the Zoom option,
Okay.
for anyone wondering.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, let's now move on to 11B, information on the CSBA governance self-assessment tool and timeline. And I'd like to call on Dr. McClay.
Yes, okay, so you do this annually. This is the CSBA self-reflection that each board member would complete individually, and then you would come together at the next meeting and have a conversation about areas of strength, areas for improvement. If you approve it tonight, you will then get it via email. You'll have 2 weeks to complete it, and then we would be able to discuss the results in June. And it looks like you don't need to approve it. So.
Okay. Okay.
It just.
So do we have any questions?
No, it's because it's what we're accustomed to, so I
Correct.
think it's,
Oh, and I apologize. I should have first had any public comment on this agenda item. Okay. And no, we don't have any.
and the timeline seems completely acceptable, so I think we're good to move forward.
We're good to go. Okay. Thank you. Okay, 11C, adoption of Resolution 24-35, Pride Month, June 2025. Vice President Pelosi, would you please read it?
Yes, but Dr. McClay, do you need to talk about the request first, or would you like me to read the resolution first? There's also, I'm just curious if there's a.
It doesn't matter the order.
Okay, I'll go ahead and with great pride, I will read the Pride resolution. St. Helena Unified School District, Resolution 24-35, Pride Month 2025. Whereas the vision and mission of the St. Helena Unified School District promotes a safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environment where all students can fully develop as resilient, caring, and responsible individuals and citizens. And whereas the St. Helena Unified School District celebrates diversity in students, staff, and the school community. And whereas the district is firmly committed to providing a safe, nurturing, and tolerant environment in our schools. And whereas the district is firmly committed to school safety for all students, staff, and family members, including the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, LGBTQ+ community, or those that may be perceived as such. And whereas Board Policy 5145.3 prohibits discrimination in its programs and activities based on gender or sexual orientation, among other characteristics. And whereas June is a symbolic month in which LGBTQ+, their families, friends, and allies come together in various celebrations of freedom and pride. Therefore, be it resolved, the St. Helena Unified School District proclaims the month of June 2025 to be LGBTQ+ Pride Month and will honor and highlight the accomplishments and contributions of LGBTQ+ students, staff, and their families. Pride Month is an avenue to ensure that bullying, harassment, and discrimination based on real or perceived orientation, gender identity, and gender expression are deemed unacceptable in our community. Be it further resolved, by recognizing Pride Month, the district continues to support all other policies, practices, and curricula that honor and respect LGBTQ+ students, staff, families, and the greater community. Passed and adopted this 8th day of May 2025 at a regular meeting.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 24-35 as presented? Sunny, would you like to cast?
Hold on one second. I think, do you want to talk about the other?
Are you okay if I add the request from the ASB president before
No,
we vote on the resolution?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. So following board policy, we do have a request from the St. Helena High School ASB president to recognize Pride Month in June by flying the LGBTQ+ progress flag to recognize the contributions of the LGBTQ+ community, as well as those members of our school and local community who are allies or members of the group. And again, that comes from our ASB student body president following board policy. It does require that I bring it to the board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so do trustees have any questions regarding the Pride Month request? Okay. So we'll vote for the request. Got it. Okay, so is there a motion to approve Resolution 24-35 and the Pride Month request as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Sunny, would you like to cast a preferential vote? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Okay, motion carried. Sunny, I don't mean, Trustee Calder, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're at 11D, request to accept gifts, donations, or earmarked funds. And would you like to read the donations? Thank you. We'll give you a second. Yeah.
Thank you. Just the donations?
Yeah, yes, please. You could start with background.
Okay. Per Board Policy 3290, the Board Trustees must accept any gifts, donations, or earmarked funds to the district. If the Board of Trustees feels the district will be unable to satisfy the donor's conditions, the gift shall not be accepted. The board is asked to accept with gratitude the following donations. St. Helena High School has received the following donations totaling $2,900. Amount donated by Gail Webb is $400, donated to football for a miscellaneous donation. $500 to the Napa Valley, from the Napa Valley Marathon, donated to track and field, and donated for helping with the Napa Valley Marathon. And then $2,000 from the Shannon Nicole Lemieux Memorial Fund for 2025 scholarships and scholarship funds. This is submitted by Dr. Kay Vang, Chief Business Official, and approved by Jody McClay, Superintendent.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Were there any written comments submitted by members of the public? Oh, no, that's right. Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No?
Okay. Is there a motion to approve gifts, donations, or earmark funds as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Sunny, would you like to cast a preferential vote? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay. 11E Wellness Policy 2024-25 Annual Progress Report is a written report, and I just wanted to remind the board that this was a written report. And do the trustees have any questions?
Ask for public comment first.
I apologize. I am not with it tonight. Okay. Is there any public comment? My microphone is rejecting me. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay. Do trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No, but I appreciate receiving this annually, so thank you to everybody involved who provides this for us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I guess it's all of them. Okay, we're going to take a 3-minute break to try to figure out what's going on with the microphones. Thank you.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing.
Hello, testing, testing,
Testing.
testing. It seemed like they all went out at once, though. So it's just like a wiring and in series.
Oh. Okay.
Testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
Well, I am loud, so.
They're all in series.
Is this on? Yeah, that's on.
Test, test,
Yours
test.
is working.
Test.
It's fixed until Laura starts again.
Test.
Test. Test. Test. Test.
I think you're good.
Okay, we are back. Oh, this sounds a lot better. Yeah. Okay. I believe we are at 12A. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, 12A, you're right.
12A,
You're right,
okay.
sorry.
No, I'm so glad I'm right finally. So glad. Okay, we are at 11E. That's right. Well, we did 11E, but
Wellness? We did.
yes. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. There's no motion. It's just a reminder that it was a written report. Okay, 12A, written report on the 2024 Local Control Accountability Plan, Federal Addendum. I'd like to remind the board that this is a written report as well. Are there any public comments on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions on this agenda item?
No, I don't at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, they have been answered.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I was looking at you strangely. I realized you're just being punctual with 11B, 12B. Okay, 12B, consideration of approval for the California Dashboard Local Indicators, and I'd like to call on Mrs. Roma Flores. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. McClay. So I am here to present the Local Performance Indicator Report, and this is criteria that is required in order to get standards met on the dashboard for our local indicators. We must go through this process of measuring our progress, looking at data and analyzing it, and also participating in a self-reflection or self-evaluation with a tool that's provided by the CDE, the California Department of Education, and then we must report the results to the board. And so this is an annual requirement. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be presenting those to you this evening. Oh, thank you. Okay, so there are actually, it says 10 indicators of school success, but there's actually 11 because chronic absenteeism was broken out. And so it used to be just part of pupil engagement, but now they have them separated, so that's why there's really 11, even though they still call them 10. As previously noted, each LEA is required to conduct an annual review, and so what we've done here in St. Helena is we've asked our administrators to work with their instructional leadership teams to self-engage in this assessment tool and give us as a district a rating. And then what we did is we compiled all of their information to give this report. And so this report is a compilation of the feedback that we received from the 4 schools and their ILTs. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so priority 1 is basic conditions, and as you can see, we are at 100% for textbooks for all students. Clean, safe schools is 100%. We actually are at 100% for qualified teachers as well, but this data is reported by the CDE, and it gathers the information prior to our cleanup as a district, and so we are actually at 100% as well for qualified teachers, but it just didn't make the timelines didn't match up. So I wanted to call that out. And then for priority 2, the next 3 slides will focus on priority 2, and what you'll see is that there are some areas that are 3. So our scale is 1 to 5, excuse me, and so we all, of course, want to strive for 5 across the board. It's our goal. But we do have some areas that were 3, and it's under professional development or providing professional learning. And that just indicates to us that we need to dedicate more time to these areas. It's not that we are not addressing these standards, but the teachers and teams felt that they would like more professional development in the areas that have 3s. So you can see that that's in health and ELD, and also next generation science standards. Okay, so for priority 3, parental involvement and family engagement. So in this area, we gave ourselves a 4. And the reason that we gave ourselves 4 is we feel this year we were doing a really good job of providing lots of opportunities for parent engagement. And I think that's a result of hiring our district engagement director, director of community liaison and engagement. She's done a phenomenal job of providing lots of opportunities. The principals have provided wonderful opportunities. And also, Parent Square, using our Parent Square platform has really allowed us to really make sure that parents are well informed about all the events that we're having. That's also parent involvement and family engagement. So the next 2 slides, you'll see that that's all parental involvement and family engagement. And then for priority 6, this is we're required to provide parents with a survey, and students with a survey. This is to gauge our school climate, and just by merely doing the survey, it gives us a standard met because it's required that we do that, and that we embed areas to address in our LCAP. And so we have engaged with that with the California Healthy Kids Survey. I know RLS has done even more with Kelvin, and so we're looking at ways that we can get even more information. And you heard earlier too, and you're going to hear again, just the work that we're doing with the Equity and Belonging Subcommittee. That's another way of, really finding out how students are feeling in our school environments, how staff is feeling with the focus groups, and so. I think it's going to give us even more information as we dive into that work about how to improve school climate. And then course access. This is met. All of our students have access to and are enrolled in a broad course of study. So our students get all of these areas in their instructional day or instructional program. And so that, because we do this, we also got the standard met on the California dashboard for our local indicators. And those are the 6 areas that we need to, or the 7 areas that we need to report on. Any questions?
Okay, did the trust, is anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Okay. Do the trustees have any questions?
I have a question. I was actually, you commented on it briefly, but on the larger report, the 20-page document, if you don't have to pull it up, but it was page 14 that really went into the check survey data of the areas for improvement. They hurt to read some of them. Just in terms of the low meaningful participation at 3 of the schools that were surveyed. And you kind of touched on that a little bit about using the empathy.
Yes, the empathy interviews, the equity walks, the
So
focus
I guess
groups.
my question then, I didn't think about it earlier, but are you targeting all schools for those interviews? Because I was thinking in my mind that it was more of a high school thing, but now I'm looking at this and kind of wondering what the plan is to really delve into this, because I know we have Sunny, or just the more emotionally mature at the high school, and then probably a little bit lower at RLS, but how do we really get some of these, why did you score this at the lower grades?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think that we're diving into this process, and so we're starting off at the high school.
Okay.
But it's not to say that we can't take this to RLS, to the elementary. I think it's actually a really good idea to get different perspectives and to understand the student experience at all of our schools. But our first step will be at the high school.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Was that Sean?
14.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions at this
No.
time. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry, was the federal addendum approved? I'm so sorry. I got to make sure. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the California dashboard local indicators as presented?
I'll make that. Oh, Go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Sunny, would you like to cast a preferential vote? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 12C. Oh, it's my first public hearing. Okay, bear with me. Okay, 12C, public hearing regarding the 2024-25 Local Control Accountability Plan, and I call on Mr. Heller.
Thank you. So the draft LCAP is presented tonight for a public hearing, and you know we're entering year 2 of the 3-year plan. This gives the community partners and the governing board an opportunity to provide additional input. Those recommendations will be reviewed for consideration in the final document, which will be presented at the next board meeting in June, where we request approval in an action item. From there, it goes to the County Office of Education for final approval to be effective July 1st of the next school year, which is July 1st of this year. I want to publicly thank Ms. Roma Flores for all of her work in setting up the data and the analysis of our performance, and Dr. Vang and her budget alignment and projections. It does take a lot of work and time to set this plan in motion and to allocate funds related to the goals. And I also want to thank our principals for their thoughtful input and the LCAP steering committee to get us to this point. So we do take a lot of consideration into the feedback that we get to help redesign and strengthen the plan annually. And so once this plan receives public hearing and input, we also receive additional input from Napa County Office of Education, Director of Continuous Improvement Lucy Pearson Edwards, reviews that on the county's behalf and provides additional guidance for us in strengthening the plan. So with that, I will turn it back over for a presentation by Ms. Roma Flores. You're not a doctor. Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, thank you.
And she'll present on the strengths and challenges or areas of growth that we've identified in our work.
Thank you, Mr. Heller. So yes, so tonight's presentation will focus on the 3 LCAP goals, and we'll look at which targets were met based on the most recent data points available to us. But I do want to call out that, you know, we're looking still at old data because we don't have current data for our students currently are taking the STAR assessment, the SBAC assessment, and so it is based on our whatever most recent data we have. So it's based on the checks results that we got from last spring. So most of these scores are based on last spring, unfortunately. But we will be sharing where we are, how we've met, which goals we've met, and where we saw growth, and what areas we need to address, and our plan for actions and services for each goal area. All right, so we are required to do this annually, and we need to look at our data, do a data analysis. We must include our educational partners and get input and feedback from them. And we need to participate in the self-reflection tool, which I just went over. And we also need to make sure that we are addressing the red areas on the California dashboard. And our long-term English learners were red on the dashboard for English language arts and math. And our students with disabilities were red on the dashboard in the area of math. We did qualify for differentiated assistance by the County Office of Education for our homeless students, because they were red in the chronic absenteeism and suspensions last year. And because they have been in the red for 2 consecutive years, we qualified for differentiated assistance, which just basically means that we get support from the Napa County Office of Education. And Lucy has been working with our Student Belonging and Equity Committee and helping us with that process of really understanding our student voice to make some significant changes in the future. And then we do the goal analysis. We address the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of all actions within the goal. And then we modify our actions, services, metrics as necessary. So as Mr. Heller said, we have just ended our first year. You called me a doctor, I'll call you a doctor. So this is the draft for year 2 that we will be presenting, but first I'm going to be sharing with you, like I said, some of our successes, some of our areas of, even though we didn't meet the target, where we made growth, and then some areas to address with our actions and services. So for goal 1, increase academic growth for all students while addressing the achievement gap. These are targets met, so our goal was to increase by 5 percentage points every year. And the one area that we met was in the area of math for our English learners. You can see that we improved by over 10 percentage points. And our 11th grade socioeconomically disadvantaged students improved by over 10 percentage points. And then for English language arts, again, our goal is to increase by 5 points every year, percentage points every year. For our English learners, they met the target. For science, our high school students met the target. And then for college and career, the goal is blue on the dashboard. Our overall students received blue on the dashboard, and our white students received blue on the dashboard. So these are the targets met. And then although we didn't meet the target for these subgroups, they did make some gains, and so I wanted to call that out. And so these are the student groups that made growth in the area of math, English language arts, and graduation rate. I'll let you look at that. And then also academic growth, college and career indicator. That also increased. We are now green in that area. And social economically disadvantaged students increased also. And then A through G course completion. These are also areas where we improved. Again, we didn't meet our target, but we're improving. And then for CTE completers, our improvement. And then these are areas to address. So SHUSD overall ELA CASP scores declined by 4.2%. So want to look at that. AP enrollment for Hispanic students declined 4%. Third grade ELA CASP scores declined for all students. Hispanic ELA scores declined, and SED, or socially economically disadvantaged students, ELA scores declined. Math CASP scores declined for our Hispanic students. LPAC results, percentage of students who scored at level 4 declined. Science scores for grades 5 and 8 declined. So these are areas that we really need to look at and see how what we can do to bolster those scores to improve student achievement in those areas. And so some of the things that we're doing to address goal 1, this is just an example of some of the things that we're doing. Every site's doing more, but we're investigating a new benchmark assessment. As you know, we are piloting STAR through Renaissance. We really feel like we need an assessment that is easy to administer, gives us timely information, doesn't take too long to get that information. There's a lot of concern about MAP, how long it takes, and so teachers are apprehensive about giving MAP because it just takes so much time. So we're really looking and hoping that this new benchmark assessment that we're looking at is going to work for us. But we're still piloting that. And we are going to be implementing TeachTown. So that's going to be the supplemental curriculum that's aligned, standards aligned for our students with in special day classes. So really excited about that. And then investigating supplemental ELD curriculum. So teachers have voiced that there is a need for more English language development support in terms of PD and even in terms of materials, if there's things that are out there that are going to meet the needs of our English learners in a more effective way. And then for staffing, provide additional time to support newcomer students. So we have a large number of newcomer students this year, and so we're hoping that we can provide more support to them next year. That's the plan in the draft. And then provide additional targeted learning time to students requiring Tier 2 and Tier 3 support. And for professional development, all sites will continue to participate in leaning into learning to deepen the PLC work. all sites will continue to either work with in the CAPS program or the CAPS network, or with a solution tree consultant to deepen our work with the PLCs. And then teams will participate in the RTI conference to build a robust multi-tiered system of support. And all sites will participate in learning opportunities to support English learners. So that's our goal for actions for Goal 1. For Goal 2, maintain a welcoming and nurturing district environment. These are the targets met. No substance abuse. We want all of our checks results to be at 90%, and that's the goal. RLS met no substance abuse. At 95% of the students said that there was no substance abuse, so that's great. And then and then suspension rates and expulsion rates, our goal is 0. And the primary school and the elementary school both have no suspensions at all, which is wonderful. And although we didn't meet the target, these are areas of growth. So for school connectedness, we improved at the elementary school and RLS. Caring adult relationships improved at the elementary school and RLS. No harassment or bullying improved at RLS and St. Helena High School. And then the dropout rate declined, so at the high school, obviously. And so these are, again, things we want to see this growth, but we want to also celebrate even our small successes. Excuse me. And then chronic absenteeism, all students declined, so we're now in the green for chronic absenteeism. ELs declined in chronic absenteeism, so you can see all of our students that have declined in that area, so we're thrilled about that. If they're in their seats, they're more likely to learn. And so graduation rate also, we are in the blue for all of these student groups, and so that's also a huge celebration. Happy to see that. So although we didn't meet our goal of 100%, we are making gains there. And then these are areas to address. St. Helena High School academic motivation declined. St. Helena High School caring adult relationships declined. High expectations at the elementary and high school declined. Meaningful participation declined at the middle school and high school. Low violence victimization increased at the middle school. Facilities upkeep declined at the middle school and high school. Suspension rates for homeless students in the district increased. Suspension rates at St. Helena High School for ELs increased quite a bit. They're in the red. And same for our special ed students in the red. And then chronic absenteeism for homeless students in the district increased. So those are areas to address. And so these are some of the things that we plan to do to address this. And as we mentioned several times now, one of the things that I'm super excited about is that work that we're doing in the Equity and Belonging Committee, because I think that's just going to be really powerful information that we're going to gather and really give us more actionable information. So it's really exciting. So we are doing those empathy interviews, equity walks, focus groups. And then partnerships, we're investigating other partners to provide therapy to students in need. We do have some students that need therapy that are on the wait list, and so we want to make sure that we are looking to see how we can maximize our partnerships so we have no students waiting on that list. And then develop a comprehensive multi-tiered system of support model for all of our sites, and providing professional development, provide culturally responsive training to staff, attend the RTI conference, and so those are things that we're looking forward to address our Goal 2. For Goal 3, these are targets met for increasing educational partner engagement, 100% participation at TK5 conferences, which is amazing, such a celebration, and 14 parent workshop trainings offered. The goal was 5 parent workshops with a minimum of 50 parents in attendance. We have held to date, as of last night, 15 now, events and for parents, and have had over 300 parents participate at those. So huge celebration there. And then parent participation in committees. The goal is to increase that parent participation, and we have seen an increase. The DLEC average attendance is now 10 to 15 parents monthly. Special education support group has 5 to 10 parents attend regularly, and all service providers are serving students. So all of our service providers, we're maximizing them, but there's still a need that is unmet. So we do need to look at that. And so growth, parent participation, we solicit parent representatives from our unduplicated student groups on all district committees. We have increased interaction data by 18% in our parent square, so we get parent square reports to see if how much interaction is happening with our parents on that platform, and so that's improved. So those are, although we haven't met our goal, we are making growth there, gains there. Areas to address: provide more training opportunities on how to use Parent Square for all families, because we have found that some families don't have smartphones or don't know how to access the Parent Square. So we want to make sure that we're providing more opportunities to our families next year on how to access and how to get them on emails, just giving them more education so that there's more accessibility. And then create online resources. We talked about recording all parent workshops, trainings, having those on the website so that if they can't attend, at least they can still get the information. And then budget for food and childcare. As we heard, that's really important to make sure that our families come. It's a lot easier when they come to evening events or evening meetings if we're providing food and childcare. So we want to make sure we're budgeting for that. And then partnering with other agencies to provide the necessary therapy sessions so we have no students on wait lists. And that's the draft LCAP.
Oops. Okay. So because this is a public hearing, we are, for 2025, we are now going to open up the public hearing up, at 7:36 p.m. Comments during this public hearing should be limited to the LCAP. However, we aim to hear from all who wish to be heard. We now invite members of the audience to address the Board of Trustees only on the 2025-26 LCAP. Okay, the public hearing is now closed at 7:38 p.m. Do the trustees have any questions about the 2025-26 LCAP?
I do. Thank you very much. Can we actually get a copy of that slide? I don't think, or I couldn't find it.
You don't. My apologies.
Okay.
The
Okay,
agenda
no
was
problem.
sent before I could get it.
Thank you very much. It was very, very
We'll
useful.
upload it after this meeting, so it'll be attached.
Thank you. So I don't know what slides some of them were. One of my questions, you mentioned that we have students on the wait list for therapy. Is this at how many of our school sites?
The high school, and it's only
Okay.
2 students, but 2 students is too many.
Okay, and then, so our goal is to have it available the day they ask. I'm just trying to understand, or how long of a wait time is it?
Well, I don't know if it's realistic the day they ask,
Okay.
Because we have different
That's
providers.
why I'm
and-
asking what the expectation
but
is.
the expectation is to get them in as soon as possible. So if it's possible that day, of course, we're going to try to get them in that day. But having students on a wait list that really need the support is, we're just trying to address that because we do have 2 students currently on the wait list that have not received any therapy sessions.
Like for a long time? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak, so I'm not sure how long, but they have been on the wait list.
I appreciate that. So high school. And then one of your slides talked about we've increased interaction with parents on Parent Square. Can you define what an interaction is?
So it's a report that we get about how many times parents are actually going onto Parent Square. And I believe it's when they ask a question. I don't know if anybody else has.
I wasn't sure if it's when somebody opens a message.
Oh, no.
So it's actually.
Because we actually have that
messaging
report as well,
back.
that we could see how many times it's open. But interactions is more like when they're asking a question, is my understanding.
Okay, so they're responding to something that was sent, probably.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
That was it.
And I think it might have been like on goal 1. If that, let me see if I can find that. And look, this is a devil's advocate question. This is not a personal statement. I just want to, and I noticed there was one of those where we had set the goal at 5%. And that's it right there. Targets met. So, and look at the amazing growth. It's over 10%. So my devil's advocate question is, does it make any sense to increase those percentages to aim higher? I mean, than 5%.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, these are celebrations for sure. Like we've
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying this is not.
But I also would like to see all subgroups be at meeting the target, and they haven't yet. And so, we're good, but we're not great yet. So there's still a lot of work for us to do.
Sure. Okay, and I truly, it's just just a hypothetical question. Does it make any sense to up those goals? And thank you for explaining. So that was my question.
Okay. I have a question about, again, there's lots to celebrate. I was really pleased to see the decline in chronic absenteeism and 100% in parent participation at the conferences at the TK5 level. All that goes directly into student achievement. So those were great things to celebrate. And I'm glad to see that we're trending in the right direction for our A through G requirements, and that there was an increase in that this year. And I just want to know if you know what you can credit this increase to, and what the high school is continuing to do to increase that A through G requirement even more. Don't mean to put you on the spot.
Well, you did. No, it's okay. I mean, again, there's a lot of things, right? Like, this is a people enterprise. We'll never be able to say we did this one thing and got this one outcome, because it's based on the ambitions of a lot of people. I mean, I can tell you even right now, like, we just added another dual enrollment class yesterday. We're lobbying for another. All of those opportunities help build a student resume, credit recovery during the summer, even remediating a D. Our counselors work with students that Ms. Pelosi just shared this evening. I mean, it's a full-on, everybody's working hard to do that. Teachers, we just had a faculty meeting. We're talking about students on their ineligibility to this and what we need to do to mitigate that before the end of the semester. So I'll never be able to point to one thing. I would say it's a confluence of factors that come together that ultimately result in students stepping up to the plate.
Okay, so. That's a great answer. Thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay. Okay, so I need to, and that is it. So we are going to move on to 12D, consideration of approval of the reading difficulties risk screener, and I call on Mrs. Roma Flores.
Yeah, so as you know, last month I presented to you the options and the process that we went through to identify the reading difficulties risk screener that we'd like to have approved this evening, the Multitudes reading difficulty screener. And I do want to thank our teacher Gladys, who's here because she's on the committee and helped with that process and was very involved. So thank you for that, Gladys. And so we're just asking you to approve this screener for us so that we can be compliant, and also so that we may use it next fall.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions?
No.
I have a question. So this will typically be done at the beginning of the school year. And how will new students to the district, how will the screener be used for them?
So we have to do this every year, and we have 30 days from when a student enrolls to screen them.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve reading difficulty screener as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Can I just clarify one thing? I'm so
absolutely.
sorry. But I want to make sure, when we first do the screening, there's not a timeline, so we don't have to do it within the first 30 days. So I want to make that really clear. So the schools can identify when to do it. In fact, we are opting to do kindergarten later in the year because we want to make sure that they have some foundation before we actually use the screener on them. So once we get new students in the district after the screen has been done with all of the students, then we have 30 days. So I wanted to clarify that, sorry.
Thank you for clarifying that. Great. Is there a motion to approve reading difficulty screener as presented?
I will still make that motion.
Thank you. Sunny, would you like to cast a preferential vote? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. 12E, consideration of approval of ethnic studies curriculum at St. Helena High School. And I would like to call on Principal Cinto.
I think I was necessarily prepared to present tonight, but I think our entire presentation was last time. I think we're just taking action, and if you have any additional questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Correct? Otherwise, I'm in trouble because I clearly missed preparing for tonight.
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item publicly? Okay. Were there any questions, board members?
I just wanted to share that I read the whole book. It was quite long, 350 pages, and it reads as a history book. It did feel mature. It did not feel in any way like no polarization, just from like it read like a history book is what I'm trying to convey. And I appreciated that copies were made available to anyone, any parent that wanted to, had a concern if they found out about it. And then just to share, I did go to the high school parent group meeting because this is the group that it's impacting, or I guess technically RLS, 8th graders coming in, just to make sure that people knew. The district sent out an email to high school parents and then one to the district, I believe, as a whole, I think. But I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a surprise to anyone that it was coming. I'd rather just find out early than have people come and say, I wish I had known. So I just tried to do a little bit of an outreach, and the questions that I got at the parent group meeting were, how my students already at the high school, how can they take it? So could it be an elective for someone that is already in the high school because they want their child to take it? Secondly, ethnic studies is required for many colleges. In the future, could it be in a dual enrollment course? Because then they get college credit. I realize it's a semester versus a year, but I feel like there was one more, but I think those are it. But it was good questions. But there was everyone was said yes. It makes a lot of sense. There were questions on. It did kind of start a question about, well, are humanities and essentials going away? And I clarified that it's condensed content is being pulled out and sometimes going to the access periods, not access, sorry. Advisory. And then sometimes it's covered in other classes. And then it kind of, for me, this is not related to the ethnic studies, but it kind of brought a larger question for me as a board member. One of the things that I assumed that essentials and humanities were California state mandated, and it sounds like they're not if we're eliminating or compressing. So I guess as a board member, I would appreciate, not for next school year, but having a view of what is California state mandated, what we mandate within our schools or district, and then just knowing, so how we juggle things around. Because I know there's a personal finance class that's on the horizon for California state mandates. So just, I didn't think about, they're adding something, what can we take away, or what do we have to take away? I didn't even think like that, so. Sorry, that was not really a question about the ethnic studies, but just to share it. And then there was one question that was, can a student opt out for ethnic studies, since it's not required or mandated by the state yet? So I said I would just share that feedback, and that was it. I'm done.
Can I answer? I actually have answers to those things. So I'm going to try and remember. So can it be an offering for current students who are not going into the 9th grade? Potentially. So there is an APEX course on ethnic studies. I don't see anybody chomping at the bit to take APEX willingly. Obviously we've authored a semester-long course, so making it a year-long course would be a challenge, right? Because we haven't set ourselves up for that. From a dual enrollment perspective, the only person on our staff who could do that would be Mr. Blassingame, because you have to maintain the minimum qualifications to be.
I did share with the parents about needing to have a master's in the
subject matter. Yeah. There was one more. You had one more. Sorry.
Elective?
Opting out.
Oh, can they opt out? No. Well, if it were an elective offering, that's how students opt out here. I mean, once in the event that, in the next few moments you approve this, that's going to set a whole course of action where we have to amend board policy 6143 on graduation requirements, which no student can opt out of. Obviously, there's certain provisions with regard to health education that students can opt out of in terms of sexual education and those kind of things, which is state law that we allow students to do. They're still enrolled in the course. We have a plan to work around that. But once it becomes a graduation requirement, there is no opt-out. Yeah. And, your other question about the 9th grade and the view. I mean, a lot of schools do very different things in the 9th grade to set students up for success in future, not only social studies courses, but we've done it to help offset some of the health ed that Mr. Lucina provides instruction in. So that's how we use it, but you'll see many different things in 9th grade history or social studies across the state. Yeah. But there is only in terms of state requirements, it's only a 3-year requirement. World history, U.S. history, government econ.
Okay.
I should share also there was, I guess at Palo Alto Unified, they do have concerns with parents that they have chosen to implement a curriculum that some people feel is anti-Semitic, and we are not using that curriculum. It's this book, it's our own questions, so I just wanted to lay that out because I did also share that at the high school parent meeting. So.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Mr. Lucina and Ms. Lunn and I, we have fielded questions from parents in the community, met with people in the community who had questions, and all of them have been satisfied by our responses. Not a ton. I mean, it's a couple. So.
And, I also know that for this process, like we have done for every other curriculum that we're going to adopt in our district, we do adhere to the guidelines and the process of bringing it to a board meeting, putting things on public view for parents to go view. Did you get any parents come to? Okay. So I just want everybody to be clear about that this is being treated just like every other curriculum that we've adopted. And it's important that people know that this is not anything, we haven't done anything different just because we've created it in-house. So that's all I wanted to share.
Yeah, and I believe there was a request with future curriculum items, be whatever topic it is, that we can put a little just information at the top saying that this is the process, so parents can be educated along the way as to why is this curriculum being presented to me. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Cynthia. I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I'm not quite the overachiever as my fellow trustee here. I started the book. I didn't get to page 350 yet, but I find it very objective and a history book, definitely. I can't imagine someone would object because it's history, and I commend your staff because I'm sure they read through a lot of books to find the one that fits right. And I personally think it's a really good choice because I kind of wanted to sign up for the class. So reading the book, I guess, is the next best thing. So I think they've done a great job.
Trustee Calder, I'd like to know if you have anything you'd like to say about the ethics class.
Thank you. I've talked with Miss Lunn a lot. She's my AP bio teacher, and she's kind of partnering the course with Mr. Lucina. And she's been talking about how excited she is about the curriculum and writing it and like really getting into kind of like the grit of like just coming up with. She's very excited about what it is, and she's proud of it. And so I commend her work there. And I also think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm not a freshman anymore, obviously, but I would have loved to take this. And Mr. Lucina was great from what I remember. So I have only good things to say about it. I had no idea there was a 350-word page book involved. But I think it's definitely going to be a challenge for freshmen. I think it's perfect. Oh, my God.
Merry
wow,
Christmas.
Thank you so much. This is hilarious, yeah. No, it's all good.
I wouldn't qualify it as a beach read, okay? So maybe don't take it on vacation.
Yeah, this is huge. All right, yeah.
Thank you, Sunny. That's great.
Of course.
I was excited when Bias in Society became a class in 6th grade, and as a teacher, I'm always excited about front-loading information for kids, and I'm excited that it's, at first I was thinking, well, junior, senior year makes more sense for reasons, maturity, getting ready to go to college, but the more I think about it, I do like it for freshman year. And like I said, I think it's front-loading information that kids may see again in world history, U.S. history. And so I would be curious in 3 years' time just to have get a report from teachers to see if they see any benefit to student achievement with our 10th through 12th graders after having this class. If it's benefited them in any way, having more knowledge about the topics, improve their writing, improve discussion, because now we're going to have history, like, specific history in each class. I'm just curious if that's something we can bring to the table in a few years to see.
That's a good thought to like identify a metric up front of, and I will tell you the PLC work because, kudos to Mr. Lucina, he has this kind of offshoot of a class, which kind of limits his ability to contribute to the PLC process given what he teaches in comparison to what Ms. Brazil, Dennington, Blasingame. So I see this as elevating that class even more so given its goal to better prepare students for what they experience in world history. So I think it's going to really kind of tie things together really well in terms of the social studies department and the work that they do. Maybe
increase AP and dual enrollment coursework too.
Maybe.
Yeah. You never know.
We're going to become a junior college before you know it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the ethnic studies curriculum at St. Helena High School as presented?
Go right ahead, please, Trustee Wolf.
I'll make that motion to approve the curriculum.
Sunny, would you like to cast a preferential vote? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 12F, written report on 2024-25 St. Helena High School, California Interscholastic Federation participation. And I'd like to call on, never mind. This is a written report. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
Well, I know it was written, but I was just astounded that our participation rate was so crazy high. I know I've heard that we have a lot of students, and I'm curious, sorry, I'm trying to pull it up quickly. We have 97% of our students have played a sport at some point last school year? Because this is last school year's data, right? No, this is
Well,
this
it's
school
20
year.
it's
I'm sorry.
24, 25.
And I'm just curious how we compare to other schools. Is this abnormally high or?
I would wager it is high, but make sure you read my little disclaimer at the bottom. I mean, that is overall participation, so we have many students who are multi-sport athletes. So I don't disaggregate it that way. But
So it's not unique. It's not
90% of our
90.
total students.
Oh.
It's total participation
I
in
even
relation
read
to
your
our,
note, and I read your note wrong, so thank you.
That's okay. But I will tell you, my understanding across schools, and just invariably based on their size and the need to cut students from sports, I mean, even with them being duplicated pupils in terms of 2 and 3 sport athletes, that's a really healthy number. I think I do think I shared that piece of data with Mr. Farrell, who shared earlier in his sports report. I think it was about 57 or 56% of our overall students when we eliminated those who are multi-sport athletes, which again, you think about rates of participation, I think where I went to high school, you know, huge, 34 or 3,500 students, 10% maybe. Yeah, that's a really good number in terms of school connectedness and all sorts of benefits for sports participation.
Thank you. Thank you for correcting. And I always want to say a huge thank you to all the coaches, whether they're teachers or parents or in the community. It's the amount of hours that they put in, regardless of a stipend, is just, you can't match it. So thank you to all of them, because they're all listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely echo that. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on. We are at 12G, written report on the St. Helena Unified 2025 Summer School Program. And again, this is a written report. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay, do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
I do. Sorry.
No.
I
Appreciate
think
the questions.
we talked about last year, because was last summer the first year we used Galileo?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we talked about was that the understanding the goal of summer school, and I think we talked about there's 2 goals. Is one of them is you want people to want to come, or not people, students. We want them to want to come, so Galileo is fun, they're learning. It sounds like it's STEM, which is also really great, especially given our public comment today. But I also want to make sure that, you know, our goal is to raise the students. I believe most of them that are targeted are the unduplicated. I don't know if that ties directly to a tier 3 or tier 2 or tier 1, but do we measure whether Galileo is making our student achievement better in addition to wanting them to be there? And we may have to just realize that being there is more important, because that's going to make them more engaged, therefore achieve better. But I just felt like we should have that discussion, because we talked about it last year, and Galileo was not cheap from what I remember. So I just wanted to make sure we're very clear on the why behind it.
Yes, so there isn't an assessment piece tied to Galileo, but there is a way of getting that data. But it would require that we adopt STAR as our assessment, because we do have it for the pilot, so we could use it for the initial, the baseline assessment, but it would require that we have a license to be able to do the post-assessment. So that's kind of up in the air still, because Galileo I don't believe it has an assessment tool.
Okay. And I guess then it's still the question for us, or at a future time, of understanding the why or our goals of the summer school, other than providing it.
I do appreciate the presentation after summer school last year that provided, she had some surveys that the staff and the students participated in. I would love to see that again this year in her report.
Yes.
And if there are some hoops to jump through with assessment, and how can we get creative to see if our students are achieving at the rate that we would hope with ELA and math during summer school. I know it's a short period of time. You know, is that based on their end of the year assessments for individual children? I don't know. I don't want to go in the weeds. I know it's a small group of children. So,
And the ELOP does require that we invite all students. Unduplicated students get first choice, so they get prioritized. But because they're unduplicated doesn't necessarily mean that they're low achieving. And if there is a student, for example, just want to be very clear, if there's a student that's low achieving and unduplicated students are taking up the spots, we have to give it to unduplicated students because of the way the ELOP grant is written.
Good. Yeah.
And we have caps for our summer school in terms of class size?
Yes. So through the ELOP, we do have some caps in terms of class size. So it's 20 to 1 for the first through sixth, and it's 10 to 1 for TK and K.
TK through what, sorry?
K. TK and K are 10 to 1.
When I toured the program last summer, when I went into the classrooms, I noticed, and some of the teachers had commented that they had a lot of extra materials. And so possibly holding on to those materials and using them for the next year instead of having to purchase the entire curriculum again. I don't know if there's a way to take inventory after summer school this year to see what's needed, if that could save us money somehow.
Yes, I think that they're on every other year cycle for their programs because they want kids to not get the same lessons. And so I believe that the following year we could do that if we choose to continue with Galileo.
Okay.
It is very pricey, and our ELOP dollars are decreasing, so it may not be an option next year, to be honest. But we're going to take advantage of it now, and we know that it was a huge success last year, and so we want to continue to provide it this year. But we are going to be looking at it to see if it is meeting the target and if it's something that we want to continue with, because it is quite pricey, and we won't have the same number of dollars next year. Same amount of dollars.
So it sounds to me we'll be having some future conversations around this. Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you go back? I kind of lost there. How many students we can take for?
So not that we can take. So really what we can take depends on how many teachers we hire. Because that will dictate how many classes we can provide, right? But the ELOP has caps. Like we have to have a 10 to 1 ratio in TK and K. So we could have 20 students, but we'd have to have 2 adults in the room.
So would we find out how many are interested and then?
So what we're doing now is we have open
lost.
registration, and so people are registering their children as we speak, and then we'll determine like who's unduplicated, who gets priority for those spots. But we also need to make sure that we have a classroom teacher for every grade level, which I believe as of right now we do.
So we have one. So if 25 kids signed up for kindergarten, would we go try to find someone else, or are we just going to say no? We can only take X amount, and
we'd have to cap it off because especially in the TK and K, because you have to have the 10 to 1 ratio. It's very pricey to do that. So yes, we would definitely have to cap it off, and that's why unduplicated students get priority.
And you'll recall last year when we talked about summer school is optional, and we have employees who have expressed interest in summer school. So going beyond what we have already, and we have some areas where we still need to fill, it's challenging to expand it from this point because we're kind of at the mercy of who's willing to work it. And so you may recall we had a truncated special ed session last year at 3 weeks, and this year we've gone back to 4 weeks, and that's been we're managing that under summer school as far as the general program, but there may be a consideration in the future to come back to 3 weeks, so it's not as clear cut as the regular school year, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Mr. Heller, last year I was really blown away by the efforts of the district to get kids to summer school. There were personal phone calls made, more than just email or notice home. Are we doing the same kinds of things this year to increase enrollment?
We will, especially for those unduplicated students that have high needs.
Wonderful.
They're going to be the priority.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
for sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
One more. Actually, it doesn't need to be answered here, but I was hoping that we could get maybe counts or updates, like how many are the targeted students, where are we with enrollment, and then the same for any student that's targeted at the high school for the Apex credit recovery. So how many are targeted students, how many have signed up, and then hopefully the outreach to the parent and student to say, hey, this is how you reach your A to G. Thank you.
Are you looking for that with the report after summer school or prior to?
Oh.
Because it's usually,
Oh.
I mean, I just want to think it,
I'd like to know before and after, I guess. Just
if there's
if that's
staff
possible.
capacity
I'd
to
just be
do
curious.
that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to be mindful of.
Totally fine.
Because there's less staff at that for summer school
Right.
too. So usually that is.
Like how many students have signed up for an Apex course
Yeah.
this summer?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe in a Friday,
Friday
memo.
memo. Okay.
We can do
Yeah,
that.
we don't need the whole.
Summer school and Apex course sign up is what you're looking for?
I mean, because it looks like there's really one, two, if I'm reading this correct, there looks like there's 3 that are really based on academics,
Oh, there's the 8th grade too.
right? Math acceleration, English language development, credit recovery, and then the other ones say enrichment. Okay, and then there's extended school year as well. So 4, right? There's those 4. I mean, the other ones, enrichment, of course, they're important, but that doesn't,
I think those might be the same
Yeah.
target population.
okay.
The enrichment of 1 through 6, TK and 1 through 6. One's from
Yeah.
8 to something, and one's from.
Okay.
And can I call out an error that I made
Yes.
on this document? I take responsibility. So I do want to correct that TK, little backpacks, I have enrichment from 12 to 5. This is an error.
Okay.
So it's, little backpacks will do their whole program for TK.
Okay.
Like, as they did last year. So I didn't understand that, and I
Okay.
mistyped that, so I apologize.
And that includes current TKers who are rolling into kindergarten. So I think a couple of you asked me that this week, and we had that wrong.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll see perhaps a Friday memo with how enrollment's going. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to business operations, 13A, contracts over 25,000 for May 2025. And I'd like to remind the board that this is a written report. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? No? No questions?
Which one, what are we on?
Yes, contracts over 25,000.
Okay. Do we do, I'm sorry.
No, I am so sorry.
Did we do the Interscholastic Federation participation? We did, right?
Yes.
That's the injuries one, right? Okay, sorry.
No, no, no.
My goodness.
I'm sorry, I did not click on this correctly. Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'm going to start over. 13A, contracts over 25,000, May 2025. Call on Dr. Vang.
Is it a full moon out there?
I don't know what it is, but something is clearly wrong. Yeah.
Thank you, President Simon. Well, I have errors on my summary sheet too. So today's a day of errors. So I have 2 contracts here. The first one is for Aurora Environmental Services. It's a 3-year contract, and the total amount for the 3 years is $154,291. The first year in 25-26 is $52,769. So there's an error there because the math doesn't add up if you actually calculate what's up there. So I do apologize for that typo. And as a member with North Bay Schools Insurance Authority, NBSIA, we do get a discount. So the savings for us is approximately almost $35,000 for the 3 years. And Aurora they manage all of our hazardous materials to ensure that we're compliant with EP requirements and such. The second contract is with Nature Bridge. This is for the middle school 8th grade Yosemite program. The contract, the proposal for next year, this is really just to hold our spot for next year. We are required to put down a deposit of $17,000. However, After camp, we will actually get an invoice with the actual number of students who participated and chaperones. So I want to just make sure that the board understands that this number up here is a not to exceed. It's a quote, it's an estimate, but this number will change depending on how many students actually attend and how many chaperones attend. So just FYI. Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Okay, do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No, I've gotten mine answered. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, you know, we have quite a large 8th grade class this year, and next year we have a smaller 7th grade class. So we'll see a drop in the price for the Yosemite trip.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the contracts over $25,000 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 13B, draft 2025-26 original budget, board approval, and public hearing. Call on Dr. Vang.
All right, so today for our public hearing, I am presenting the 2025-26 original budget for next school year. The district's budget cycle is a 16-month cycle starting in June, going through September. So we're going to start with today's original budget, and we end with unaudited actuals. And as we go through the process, I will continue to bring reports to the board. So today's public hearings require per Ed Code 42127. So along with the public hearing next month, I will include any revisions, updates to today's report, bring them back to the board next month for adoption. As Mr. Heller shared earlier, we are required to have not only our original budget, but our LCAP adopted before July 1st of each year. Next steps, prior to the June adoption, again, I will make the necessary updates, revisions to this report. And for transparency purposes, on the 25-26 governor's budget dartboard, the information I had at the time when I was creating this report called out COLA of 2.43%. As of April 30th, that COLA has slightly decreased to 2.30, so that will be an adjustment, a revision to my report for the June adoption. Additionally, I will continue to work with our Ed Services Director, Mrs. Roma Flores, to update our LCAP as needed before we bring it back next month. These are key assumptions that you've seen before in other budget reports. I do include these key assumptions in my original budget for next year based on the 2025-26 dartboard, the governor's budget. So those numbers are included in here. A couple of things that I do want to point out: property taxes. The assumptions for this is a 2% increase, which is a conservative number per our county. Additionally, at the very bottom, as I mentioned earlier, our costs of living, our COLA, at the time of my, when I was working on the budget, the COLA was at 2.43%, and since then we've gotten a revision and it has slightly decreased. So again, I will be including these revisions in my report for next month. Second page here is also additional key assumptions. Please note that we have not settled our negotiations. So when those negotiation settlements are in place, I will need to include those salary increases into my report. If not by next month, then when I bring back my first interim, I will have those numbers. Next here is a multi-year projection, also known as a MYP, and this our multi-year projection is our best guess of the income we will earn along with the checks we will write over this fiscal year. Again, keep in mind, my multi-year projection does not include any negotiation raises because we have not settled. Again, COLA is slightly decreased from 2.43% to 2.3%. The Legislative Analyst's Office, LAO, just released their updated May revenue outlook, and for 25, 26, and beyond, it is actually looking worse than what the governor had originally proposed, his January budget. So here you see revenues, expenditures, you see a net increase in the first 2 years, and then a decrease in the third year. And again, just keep in mind, not all things have settled yet, so those numbers are not included in here. So just looking at our unrestricted ending fund balance, you see a little over 12 million for all 3 years. Once we do settle, you're probably wondering, well, where's that money going to come from? It's going to come from our fund balance, which is sitting in your projected reserve on the bottom line there. Our 3% requirement by the state is on the second to the bottom row there. So you see those numbers, which we obviously are meeting. Again, before I move on to my next slide, I just want to remind everyone there's so much that is going on right now, lots of uncertainty. School Services of California just released an article that our current administration is proposing significant education reductions. Our current president is calling for a 15.3% reduction in education funding compared to 2025 levels. That would reduce our educational fundings from $78.7 billion to $66.7 billion. These impacts, these reductions are most likely going to be seen in federal cuts. And if you recall, we receive over $500,000 in federal revenues. So keep that in mind, and I just want to stress, yes, we can do some things, but we can't do all things, so we really have to prioritize our expenses, know what our goals are, align our expenditures to our goals. General fund contributions to restricted programs. You've seen the slide before. We have 2 large programs that are unfunded programs, one being routine maintenance, the second being special ed. These are the projected contributions from general fund to these programs so that we can sustain these programs next year moving forward. Cash flow, I'm projecting positive monthly cash balances for next school year. You can see our beginning cash estimated at about 16 million down to our ending cash slightly lower. Again, cash is king. Cash is what we have in the bank. If we don't have cash in the bank and we can't pay our bills, that's a problem. So I have to monitor our cash and monitor it, especially the months right before we get our first large property taxes in December. So right around November is when we're running low. So I will be closely monitoring our cash. And that concludes my budget presentation for the public hearing. I will make my necessary revisions and bring this back to the board for adoption in June. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vang. The public hearing for the 2025-26 budget is now open at 8:22 p.m. Comments during this public hearing should be limited to the budget. However, if we aim to hear from all who wish to be heard. We now invite members of the audience to address the Board of Trustees only on the 2025-2026 budget. Okay, the public hearing is now closed at 8:24 p.m. Do the trustees have any questions about the 2025-26 budget?
I just wanted to clarify a couple things. In our LCAP review that we just had, there looked like a couple items on there that were going to be future purchase requests. So those are not included in this budget, correct?
I've been working closely with Mrs. Roma Flores as we were putting together the LCAP to try to align as much of the known budgets for next year. So I don't recall if I specifically included the ones you're referring to, but I try to capture as much as I can.
I guess my question is if we can just be more aware when purchases are not in our plan, even though the money is there, was it not in our plan? Because I feel like we're getting to this little wiggle room, like you're talking about 500,000 in federal revenue that may not be around. Uncertainty within the California state budget also. I just really want to be very mindful of what, are we doing trade-offs? We're adding something, taking something away, not just adding new all the time for the budget, because when I see that, it just made me nervous. And I think, was there another question on this? No, thank you.
Comment. A lot of the curriculum that we are reviewing right now, we're piloting. I have set aside funds for that. I budgeted funds for that with the anticipation that we will most likely adopt some of those. And we've also been working closely in aligning staff are utilizing them. So we have started that work. We will continue that work this coming school year as well. But definitely, again, we can do some things. We just can't do all things. So prioritization will be huge for us.
Yeah, I request that. I remember that was a request from the board, and you've been working on that for some time. So thank you for continuing to do that work. Just cleaning things up where they can be cleaned up.
Right. That reserve for economic uncertainty, that 3%, what does hypothetically, what's that going to cover for St. Helena Unified?
Not much.
Okay.
So 3%, keep in mind, 3% is what the state requires for a district of our size that's not a basic aid district. Basic aid districts have a different requirement. SF square requires more than the 3%. And if I recall, it's almost 30% at the top of my head. What SF square actually recommends is almost 30%. And I've shared before, now I can't remember at the top of my head, there was like a certain percentage that equates to like so many months. I'll have to get back to you on that. But as a basic aid district, I think I've said this before, it is critical that we have a healthy reserve because we are not funded by the state. So all it takes is, knock on wood, some disaster, and we are not in a good place.
Right. So 1.459 covers payroll and bills for a month?
No. Maybe a week if we're lucky.
Great. That's what I
Maybe
just
a
wanted
week
to-
if we're lucky.
Okay. I think that's okay. Great. Wanted that just to be clear. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate it.
And the 3% is recommended?
No, that's a state requirement or state-funded districts. As a basic aid district, SF square recommends a minimum of 30% for basic aid districts.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes. So SF square 30%, what's our number that we have?
Our number is under 30%.
Or under 30?
Yes.
Okay. A lot under?
Well, it says 22.
22. Okay.
Right.
That's it. Okay, thanks. You know me in budgets. We struggle.
Yes, but again, keep in mind, we have not settled negotiations, so these numbers do not reflect any negotiation settlements we have not settled.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, trustees?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the contracts over 25,000 as present?
Budget.
Oh my God. I am. Okay.
And actually, you're good because you did the hearing, and now it's just questions, so.
Hold on. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. Is there a motion to approve?
I think, you know what happened
No.
is
What is
sometimes-
going on
You
here?
know what happens sometimes, Laura? It's just, you have to double click it so that it kind of goes to where you need.
Thank you.
It's just, it's not.
Thank you.
It's just.
Feels like it's me tonight. Okay. The public. Okay. Do the. Okay.
You're on 14A.
All right. So now we are going to move to 13B because we.
No, we're finished with 13B, so now we're
Yeah.
on 14A.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have come to an end of this meeting. 14A, future agenda items. We have May 19th, board study session on facilities. May 29th, board study session on district goals. And June 12th will be our next regular board meeting. We will have an adopt a school review and change of assignments, if so be. Let's take a look here. We're going to have our budget adoption and our LCAP approval. Do any of the trustees have any subjects for future agenda items?
Well, I had a requested a while ago, and I just don't remember where it landed. I don't know if it's a future agenda item, but I'd asked if we could get a report to the board, maybe a 3-year plan on how we plan on using the Prop 28 money, so the arts, state-funded
Okay.
prop, or arts by school, because it seemed to be like we introduced guitar, stopped it, we introduced orchestra. I want to make sure it stayed, like I just want to see that we're keeping a pattern where we can, because I realize that we don't have enough money by school to actually keep things consistent. But I would just like to see that plan.
And I believe Dr. Vang and her committee are working on that. When is it slated to
okay.
come?
It's actually on next month's board agenda.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Asking you shall receive.
It's just not on your list here.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Thank you.
Are you asking how we can sustain programming with Prop 28? With certain,
Well, I think
I
that
don't
will
know.
come up
Trying
in
to
the
understand.
discussion.
I just would like to know what the plan is to spend the money, because I remember that I think the money you get on year one, if you don't use it in 3 years, it's gone. And so I just want to make sure that we are looking at that plan, because it's a rolling 3 years.
okay.
And your concern, if I'm understanding,
Consistency,
right,
are we
that we don't
building
want to have a
things?
program and then yank it that has become popular and students
Right.
are engaged in, because then we would have to fund it.
Right.
Sustaining certain programs. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Mora. Okay, any other subjects for future agenda items? Okay, we are at 15A, adjournment. And is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, meeting ended at 8:35 p.m. Have a lovely evening.